I also was remiss, I forgot to mention this starting off. One of, the smaller embarrassments from Steven Harper before this great big embarrassment was, of course, when he said that this country had no history of colonialism. And I just want to acknowledge the Coast Salish peoples whose territories are gathered on here today. Okay, oh, closer. Okay. Closer? Really? That didn't seem to work out. Okay, as I said at the beginning off the top, we've got a real panoply of views and people coming at this question from different perspectives. And the one thing that we all share is the acknowledgement of this egregious abuse of power. And so your next speaker has been asked to be introduced merely as a grumpy conservative who knows the difference between right and wrong. So please, a very warm welcome for Mr. Bob Hamilton, everybody.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for coming. It's amazing when we offer some free pierogies what we can get here. When Mr. Harper decided to slip the shutdown of Parliament through during the Christmas holidays, I guess he figured that a lot of Canadians would not notice and would not care. Well, guess what, Mr. Harper? Hundreds of thousands of Canadians did notice and did care. And the people that did notice and did care were definitely not just the liberal media. Hundreds of thousands of Canadians from all walks of life, from all ends of the political spectrum, including grumpy old conservatives like myself, do care, Mr. Harper. We care when you refuse to stand up and take accountability in front of our elected representatives. We care when you choose to run and hide instead of facing public scrutiny. We care when 35 pieces of legislation touching on a number of important issues like product safety, child pornography, government ethics, human trafficking, online predators, and white-collar crime are simply killed. Simply killed. These were pieces of legislation that Mr. Harper's government introduced. Didn't they care very much about their own legislation? We also care, especially old fogies like me, about the Canada pension crisis. This thing has been simmering for around 40 years. 11 million Canadians don't have decent pensions. Now, for Mr. Harper, it's not a big deal. He's got a gold-plated government pension. How many of you guys have gold-plated government pensions? Just, raise your hand. I'm still looking for hands here. Okay, here's the deal. Starting in the next couple of months, they were supposed to be talking about the pension crisis in Parliament. Instead, they're taking a paid vacation to go and watch the Olympics. Can I have another show of hands? How many of you are getting 5 weeks of paid vacation to go and watch the Olympics? Just raise your hand, please. I'm still looking for hands here. Okay, let's take a look at some of the excuses that Mr. Harper has given for shutting down Parliament. Quite a few interesting ones. Let's start with the partisan one. Chrétien did it too, right? Okay, here's the deal. He's right. Chrétien did do it. He did it 4 times. And in my own personal opinion, being a conservative, I think Chrétien was wrong on at least one of those counts. So Chrétien was wrong then, Harper is wrong now, and as our parents taught us, 2 wrongs do not make a right. The other excuse is that Parliament is dysfunctional. It's not working very well. Well, you know, I have to agree with him on that one, because our Parliament on a good day looks like a bunch of squabbling 6-year-olds. But let's face it, when your car breaks down, do you just decide to walk away and give up on driving? I don't think so. If Parliament is not working, let's fix it. Let's get out there and fix Parliament. Another excuse is that he needs time off to work on the economic action plan. Right. Okay, I'm sorry, but dozens of prime ministers before him have managed to be able to work on plans and face up to Parliament at the same time. It's a little bit like being able to walk and chew gum at the same time. Not to mention the fact that his own finance minister said that 97% of all the funds for the action plan have already been committed. So we're going to shut down Parliament in order to deal with that final 3%? Give me a break. You know, I really hate this excuse that it's okay to prorogue Parliament because, you know, everybody else did it. Everybody else is doing it. Now, when I was a teenager, and that's a long time ago, I used to use that excuse too. You know, Mom and Dad, everybody else is doing it, why can't I? Well, my parents didn't buy it back then, and the people of Canada are not buying it today. Just a little bit more feedback for Mr. Harper. How's this? Okay. The bottom line here is that when a minority of us elected Mr. Harper, we expected some leadership, we expected some vision. We did not elect him so that he could play political games, use sleazy tactics, use one-upsmanship against the other parties. That is not what we elected him for. The Canadian people expect better. The Canadian people deserve better. And we demand better. And that's why we're all here today. Thank you very much.
Yay! Bob Hamilton, everybody. There's also what Canada's facing this week, as serious as it is, has obviously been dwarfed by what the people of Haiti are facing this week. There are some tables at the back with more information on how you can donate to the relief efforts in Haiti, and we wish, we send nothing but our hopes and prayers and hopefully some money as well for those who have it to the people of Haiti this week. I do also want to acknowledge that several elected officials have joined us here today. He's booing the concept of elected officials. You are at the wrong rally. This whole thing's about the government. It's literally the whole point of the rally. But you make a fair, screeching point. I know that guy. Yeah, okay. Oh, Dad, I told you not to come. So I want to take a minute to recognize elected officials and representatives of the parties that wanted to lend their support today. So Adrian Carr, the Deputy Leader of the Green Party of Canada, is here. From the New Democratic Party, we have Libby Davies. Her unrelated colleague, Don Davies. Peter Julian. And Finn Donnelly. And from the Liberals, they're even standing on different sides of the